He lost 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and a long 7. Wide receivers both ways for the Dragons. Whipple, straight drop back. He's got time. He's got his man over the middle. It's going to be incomplete. Looked like he had it, but dropped it. Good hit there by Tim Barnum. And that was Troy Hendricks on the pattern, but he could not hang on.
Well, that time you can see Whipple has an arm. He just bellied that thing right in there. A good hit that time to pop the ball loose. This is exactly what you want to do. You want to keep Moorhead deep in their own territory. Don't give them field position. You march down and see if you can get a score yourself.
Okay, Bob Streggy will be punting near his own goal line. Petrich and Veach are both back. Now Petrich is coming up. Bad snap, and what's going to happen here? Barnum's going to tackle him into the end zone. A safety. Big play for the Bulldogs special teams once again.
I'll tell you, I didn't know exactly what's going on with Petrich running up like that. I don't know if he said a full block or what he wanted after him. He said, just let the ball go. They came in, and it was a bad snap that time. It was pretty smart for Moorhead to take the safety on that one, because if not, he tries to run it out, you can possibly get 6 points out of it, so really nothing he could do.
Moorhead's going to have to be careful here, guys. They're getting a little flustered, and as the Bulldogs capitalize on this one could be over early.
Plus, now remember, on safeties, they'll be, you have your option. You can punt or kick off to UMD. They'll have the wind at their back. They'll be punting the ball, I would imagine, to UMD, because in the warm-ups we saw their punter kick the ball almost 75 yards with that wind. So, and that's Bob Straggy, right? He'll boot the ball. I'd imagine he'll be punting the ball.
Well, Streggy just mishandled that snap. It appeared to be a good snap, and he really had no chance. By the time he picked the ball up, Barnum was right on top of him, and he had no choice but to eat it and give Bulldogs the 2 points. It's 9-3, and Streggy will get the free kick from his own 20.
Ironically,
Bulldogs.
Barnum again.
Tim Barnum. They got to find a way to stop him. He's been blocking kicks and doing all kinds of things. A nice high hanging kick. Veach takes it at his own 24. He's up over the 30, 35, and he's going to be down at about the 37-yard line. So the Bulldogs get 2 points, and yet they get the ball in good field position.
Now this is contrasted to 2 weeks ago when we watched the Bulldogs at home there. Northern Michigan had field position. Northern Michigan was dominating. I think a lot of people got a wrong idea about UMD's football team. They're still tough. They've got a lot of pride and work hard out there.
Northern Michigan beat Northeast Missouri State last week, and Northeast Missouri State has a very, very good program, one of the best Division II programs in the country, so you know just how good Northern Michigan is. Jim Molosky brings them out 1st and 10 at his own 37. He's back to pass. He's got time. He throws it. It's going to be incomplete. Intended for Krause, a badly thrown ball, and it was actually Wayne Roberts, the linebacker, who had the best chance to catch it.
We call those balls Maggies. They always mention the pros where you'd like to have those balls back, or they don't. Maggie comes from the term when you're shooting, target shooting, you miss the whole stinking thing. They throw those red flags up. There's a Maggie trousers, they're called. So
I'm an expert on that.
We'll call that Maggies.
Okay.
You're an expert. We'll have to talk about that later.
2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Molosky on the option. He gives it back to Veach. Veach is going nowhere. Wayne Roberts, once again, number 58, back there to corral him, and he gains maybe a yard on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 10. He actually loses a yard.
That was a rare option, but the guys are telling me they've been working on that this week in practice.
What it actually is a reverse. It's a reverse out. The quarterback steps down the line. He does a reverse out, and then he options to the weak side of the field. Now, what Molosky likes to do is he likes to run to the short side of the field and reverse it.
3rd down and 11 for the Dogs. They have 2 tight ends in there, Greenwood and Krause, both in there. Deuce backfield. Dolney going in motion. We've got penalty flags, and I think I saw the left guard for UMD move a little early that time.
What happened is the right tackle or right end from Moorhead just flinched a little bit and moved forward, and I think he drew the UMD player offside. I don't know what they're going to call though.
You know, guys, I know it's early. You know, there's 12 minutes left in the 2nd quarter here, but I'm a firm believer that all things work together here in the entire span of the game. And if the Bulldogs can capitalize on that miscue in the end zone and come back with more points on the board here, I think it just can give you anything but, you know, the advantage.
We just did. No. White drew maroon off. No flag. 3rd down.
Well, you heard it. No call, no foul, I guess.
Well, is that like when two guys fight, nobody gets thrown out of the game or something?
I guess they decided to stand still there, no damage done. So down remains the same, 3rd down and 11 for UMD. They lead this football game 9-3 early in the second quarter. Once again, the double tight, I formation for the Dogs. Handoff goes to Veach. Veach off right tackle, gets a couple, but not nearly enough for a first down, and that'll bring in the punting unit.
You wonder about that play call there, Lee.
Well, if he drew him off, he obviously was in the neutral zone. He was in as encroachment. It should have been called right away. Now, if they're saying he could have gotten back and he didn't break the plane, then I'm a little confused about that myself. I thought it should have went the other way.
Greg Seth back to punt. It'll be Greg Bates, number 31, and Tony Horning, number 42, deep. Punt is away. It's going to be a low punt. Gets a bit of a UMD bounce. And they're going to let it die right at the 34. Oh, it keeps rolling a little bit more. About the 34-yard line. We're going to take this opportunity to pause. You're in tune to Bulldog Football 85.
St. Germain's Glass and Paint now has 2 locations to serve you better, downtown and also at the Village Mall. St. Germain's carries the complete line of Lucite exterior house and trim paint and all Lucite flat interior finishes and interior enamels. Talk to the experts at St. Germain's Glass and Paint about Lucite. Use Lucite this time, and next time will probably be a longer time coming.
Well, there's the man, Jim Molosky, the winningest active coach in Division II football, and right now his UMD Bulldogs have a 9-3 lead over arch rival Moorhead State at homecoming here at Griggs Field.
One advantage I think UMD has, too, is they practice on this field all week long. If you remember, Monday and Tuesday were sloppy and rainy and snowy, and we thought we were going to have an early winter. UMD was on this field, and this field is tremendous for playing on in wet weather, so they definitely have advantage.
Moorhead State has it, 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Whipple hands off to Hendricks. Hendricks gets a couple. He's stacked up there by Phil Peichel, number 44, one of the linebackers. He'll gain about 4 on the play.
Getting back to Lee's point, I'm not sure, but Moorhead State has the capabilities of playing or practicing across town at North Dakota State University up in Moorhead. I'm not sure if they did this week, but I know they have done in the past.
There's a look at the stats. Moorhead State 41-34, out rushing the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs a little bit more in the passing department. Total yards pretty even, time of possession pretty even. But the scoreboard's the important thing, 9-3 UMD leading. Bulldogs showing blitz. Handoff goes to Roberts. Roberts is going to be knocked down from behind nicely by big Mark Turcotte, the junior out of Duluth-Denfeld. No gain on the play.
I'll tell you, Turcotte did a tremendous job, and I'll tell you, Tom Rapps he stood up that big 290-pounder. He stood him up, and there was another blocker there. I didn't get his number, but he did a nice job turning him in. So these guys, there's Mark Turcotte, number 78 out of Duluth. Those guys are playing a heck of a ball game.
They really are.
3rd down and 6 for the Dragons. Ball at the 38-yard line. Davenport wide to the right side. I formation. Whipple rolling left. Now straight drop. He's got trouble. He lets it go, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for Farice, and we get a penalty flag. Scott Coughlin does not like it a bit.
And he actually did. He did bump him. He was going to do a little out and up that time. It was a little face guard, and he bumped him just before. They're arguing, but the one official that was right on the play did not throw the flag, and the deep official did. So they're talking about it out here, but they might call it offensive because he pushed him prior to that.
Well, Heinen didn't see. I don't think he thought he had a chance at the ball, so he tried to create something going himself there, and accidentally ran into the Bulldog secondary man there.
I think you're right, and the main thing is that the officials have to talk, and the guy that saw the entire play is the one who has to make the call, and not the person who saw the last infraction made. I'm sure Jim Lasky could tell him that. He's telling them from across the field. So you might have offensive pass interference. One thing that the quarterback did, what Whipple did, is he grabbed his arm, and he started monkeying around with it. That means that the far flat man do a fly, and if you took a look down the field later on, he had him beat.
Well, they've had their powwow. Let's see what they call here. The important factor to realize is I don't think the ball was catchable by either man.
I think that's what they're indeed deliberating right now.
That's a good point, Stephen. We might have one of those things where let's really play the whole whole thing and forget the whole the deal. I think they're going to go with
offensive interference.
UMD, the players seem to be clapping. Here's a look at the umpire. The head lineman Jim McGowan, Tom Futek, the umpire, Skip Fajovic, the field judge, and Rick Fallman, the back judge.
Well, evidently they're going to just go with the play as it was.
So there will be once again no penalty called. That's the second time that's happened where they have thrown a flag, but after deliberating, they said no foul. It'll be if the play.
Now they're saying the play stands. So they do have us confused. That is
That's
official.
one thing we know for sure.
They have us confused.
It is going to be third down. They're going to play the down over. We've got that cleared up.
Okay.
Third down and 6 once again for the Dragons.
Okay, turn your mic on there, Mr. Official, and let us know what's going on.
Well, I guarantee you guys, we're not the only ones confused right now.
Now he's coming over to the Moorhead coach and tell him that he has the media crew fooled.
I don't buy all this. They got a job to do out there, and they have to communicate this.
Well, they're doing a lot of communicating out there. It's just that nobody aside from themselves seem to understand right now. There's a shot. Ross Forchi, of course, looking for career win number 100 in his 16th season. Done a whale of a job with football over at Moorhead.
I think what they should do is videotape this and have that on NFL Today where you make the call. This would be a tremendous one for that.
Well, now they are going to say it's fourth down. They are going to say the play goes, so it's fourth down, so Forchi has to bring the punting unit in. He can't be happy.
Well, I guess Jim called it right. Mulaski called it right because he said his punting.
So Streggy's in to punt. Keep in mind, the Bulldogs have put a lot of pressure on him so far. This time he gets it away, end over end job. Veach is going to take it at the 20. And I think they're going to say that he called for a fair catch. No, his knee touched the ground. So it'll be Bulldog ball at the 22-yard line as they take over.
Well, now, if you really take a look at that call, that was the only way they could actually do anything, because if there was contact made prior to, and they thought that that indeed was what was happening, that the contact was made prior to, and that there was the what am I trying to say? He did not have a chance to catch the ball, then indeed it would be the down would go as is, no penalty, and that's what happened. We'll get an official ruling on that later on.
At any rate, the Bulldogs have the football, 1st and 10 at their own 22. Veach gets the call. He's up over the 25 to the 27, so a good 5-yard gain on first down for Corey Veach.
I like Corey Veach. He's an exciting ball player to run. He leads the team in rushing. The guy's fun to watch, plain and simple.
He's got that low center of gravity. He doesn't weigh much, maybe 165 pounds. He's very short, but he's got that good upper leg strength, and he really is tough to bring down.
And I'll bet you he goes duck hunting tomorrow. Corey Veach, quite a hunter, they tell me.
I think all small football players duck hunt. big players go smelting in the offseason.
2nd down and 5 for the Bulldogs. They lead it 9-3 here in the 2nd quarter. Veach once again. Veach, another big hole up near the 35. And he's going to have enough for a first down, I believe.
Well, I mentioned earlier, I said for UMD to get their ground game going and for things to really start clicking for them, they're going to have a good game out of Jeff Donnell and also out of Paul Roth. And those two people are doing a job in there.
Jeff Donnell, of course, he's a freshman out of Grand Rapids. He's in there for Jeff Porky Johnson, who's the junior out of Grand Rapids. Jeff, one of the many Bulldog people that have been afflicted by the flu this week. It's really going around.
Don't breathe on me now, Steve.
Okay, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 33-yard line. This time Dolney gets the call. Dolney's up to about the 40. Dan Donahue, number 56, the linebacker, wrestles him to the ground. Gain of a couple.
We saw Southwest State films earlier this week. Steve and I did. Lee and Jim Mulaski said that they're going to have to fire off the line. You mentioned Donnell and Roth. He's got Banks in between them. Dolly, Evans, Greenwood, and Nelson all firing off the line well.
There's a look at Jim Mulaski Jr., young sophomore quarterback out of Duluth Central. He won himself the job in the 3rd game of the season, has been there ever since. He rolls out. He's got time. He's got his man, Veach, up near midfield. He's popped pretty good by Greg Bates at about the 47, but the UMD Bulldogs will have another first down.
And he's throwing strikes in there. He's doing a great job. They're mixing up the plays. You know, Moorhead is changing their defenses, and it seems like every time they catch him in that down defense, I don't know if he's audibling or what, but he comes out with that sprint out pass, and here it is. There is nobody in that flat area because that that up linebacker is right on the line of scrimmage, and that safety has to come up to cover him. Wide open.
At the 47, first down, Dolney in motion. Bulldogs maintaining that double tight end alignment. Mike Louie gets the call, the fullback. He's up near midfield and then stacked back. Roberts again on the tackle. Those linebackers ever present for Moorhead State.
And one reason that Mulaski's going with those two tight ends too is because if you have active linebackers and stunt left, stunt right, what you have to do is called a seal block. You go to an area and you block there because you know there's going to be a man there. You can't take a man because he may stunt the opposite way. You have an extra block in there with that tight end. You have one more man to seal block.
Gain of 2, second down and 8. The ball right at midfield. Dolney once again in motion. Second man through, Veach. Veach gets away from one tackler. Scoots ahead for a couple of yards. We got penalty flags, and there was once again movement in the front line. We'll see who's it against.
I believe it's against Joe Benson, 6', 240-pounder out of Black Duck, jumped on the left tackle position just a little prematurely there, a little anxious.
Well, Jim Mulaski is either changing his cadence somewhat, or the Moorhead State front four just a little too anxious up there.
That front four is very, very aggressive, and you're right, he is changing the cadence a little bit. You can hear it out here.
Offside, White, still second down.
Second down and 2 now, the ball at the 45-yard line. UMD leading this football game 9-3 here in the second quarter, and they are on the move again. High formation behind Jim Mulaski. Veach down to the 40. He's got the first down.
Now this is what's turning out to be a typical UMD drive. They're moving the ball, they're using the clock. Here you see Corey Veach out of Hermantown again is doing a great job. They're moving them down, and they're also moving up the clock as far as time of possession. You're going to find that the first quarter was very even. You're going to find the second quarter to be quite lopsided in the favor of UMD.
This time Dolney sets up in the slot left. Dolney gets the call, rather. Dolney's going to be up to about 37. He's finally pushed back. Once again, good linebacker pursuit for the Dragons. Gain of 3.
Something about the backs that Mulaski has, what he recruits are what we call slammers. There's 3 kinds of runners. There's the picker, the slammer, and the dancer. He has a lot of slammers out there. Moorhead has a slammer and a picker, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Go wide!
Mulaski takes it himself. Mulaski forward to about the 35. He gains a couple more. Going to set up a third down and 6 situation.
We invite the folks at home to stay with us at halftime. We have a fun halftime show coming your way at intermission of this game. Take a look at the UWS football team, who was playing with Key Wisconsin lacrosse, a key matchup in that WSU. Also take a look at undefeated Mountain Iron Buell coming up, and halftime highlights and statistics coming up at intermission of this ball game.
In the meantime, the Bulldogs, another big play facing them, third down and 5. The ball in Moorhead State territory. Play action fake. Mulaski throws. He's got his man, Dale Kraus, for a first down.
Well, there it is again. There's a little play action to freeze the linebackers. There's absolutely no way you're going to stop that. There's Kraus out of Minnetonka. There's absolutely no way you're going to stop that because they delay the tight end, they flood that zone over there. And that was just a great pass by Jim Mulaski Jr.
Dale Kraus has made some big contributions to this ball game. A couple key catches as you see him haul that one in right there.
He's another guy who's been hampered by the flu bug, but he's in there healthy or not right now, and he's got a couple of key catches here in the second quarter. Veach, handoff. Veach, good line surge, so he gets about 5 on the play. Down inside the 20. UMD moving the football, and Lee, I think the pass is open really because their ground game is working so well.
Absolutely. You want to talk about a long ground game. This started off, I believe, with a punt from the safety. I think that's how far back, if I can remember correctly, that this drive started.
Well, Moorhead State has called timeout. We're going to call timeout. We'll be back in just a moment.
People are making any excuse to take home a Yamaha ATV.
I can use it to take out the trash.
Because right now you can get your best deal ever on a Yamaha 3- or 4-wheeler.
Look, Lame Brain, you always said we should have a hobby.
It will be educational for the children.
The Yamaha 3-for-All celebration, because saving money is the best excuse of all.
Take a demo ride and preview the 86 models at RJ Sport and Cycle.
On its home, it followed that home.
Well, there are the numbers, 9-3, UMD leading. 6:08 left to go here in the second quarter. Homecoming. And a very, very crucial Northern Intercollegiate Conference battle against arch rival Moorhead State. Moorhead State came in, obviously, as the favorite.
That's right. I mentioned earlier about the backs that different coaches recruit. Now, a slammer is a guy who just powers straight ahead. John Reagan's is a slammer. He just powers it ahead. You have pickers who kind of pick their way. Hendricks will pick his way. And then you have dancers. Chuck Foreman reminds me of the typical dancer. Three types of backs.
Second down and 5 for the Bulldogs. Once again, handoff goes to the second man. That's Dolney this time, or on the left side. He's going to be down to about the 16-yard line, about a yard shy of a first down, but the Bulldogs knocking on the door once again.
You have to remember, this drive is going into a pretty strong, stiff wind here. I think Jim Molaski Jr. is doing a tremendous job. He's just throwing bullets in the wind. It sure hasn't bothered his passing at all.
Showing a lot of poise for a sophomore and for a guy who really didn't establish himself as a starter until that Northern Michigan football game 2 weeks ago. Third down and a long yard. Once again, there's movement up front and a penalty flag as Veach powers ahead inside the 15. He's got necessary yardage, but let's check out the flag.
I think you're right what you alluded to earlier, Steve. They're changing the cadence. One thing that you do when you're scouting another team, you get their cadence. Their cadence is set down, hut, hut. Ours is he calls the defense, he says odd or even, then he goes hut 1, hut 2, hut 3, whatever. And he's changing it with the tone of his voice. We have offside Moorhead, and here it is right here. Either way, I think they would have had the first down. But I think that's a good point, Steve, that the change in cadence is really messing up this Moorhead defense.
Offside on the white, we have a first down.
Well, that's the story. Another 5 yards tacked on. First down and 10. The ball at the Moorhead State 12-yard line. UMD with an excellent opportunity to take a nice lead here.
Got to change the cadence like we just commented on too. Better enables the down linemen up front to get off the ball and maybe just give them that little bit of advantage over the defensive linemen.
The Bulldogs continue to use that double tight end formation. Second man through, that's Dolney. Dolney struggling forward to about the 10. He'll get a couple. Nothing fancy here, just coming right at you. I think they're going with the philosophy, we're going to come at you and you're going to have to stop us.
That's right, and that was Molaski's, as I mentioned earlier, his philosophy going into the game. It's not, I'm not going to change my offense to match their defense. They're going to have to change to stop me. And so far, that philosophy has really held true today.
Play action fake. Molaski wants to throw. He's got some time. He's going to run it himself. He's going to be down near the goal line at about the 2-yard line. He may have enough for a first down, which would set up a first and goal inside the 2.
Now, you talk about game maturity. Now, over at Wisconsin, over at UWS, that the first game, he would have probably thrown that ball. In fact, that's what he did that 1 week. He threw the ball. That was an interception. His dad kind of said, no, Jim, you just don't do that. Here it is. He's play action. He sees there's nobody there. If he's going to force it, he runs the ball. Very smart play. He's getting a lot of game maturity. And his dad talks to him at night and says very pleasantly, Jim, you probably should have run that ball, and talks to him in a quiet mannered way, and he got the message. And I have a lot of land in Montana you can buy if you believe that.
Jim Molaski's a big guy, 6'3", 200. He might even be a little bigger than that. That's what the program lists him at. So why not put the ball under your arm and try to take your head down yourself?
He was a good athlete in high school too. He played basketball. I think you're right. I think he's closer, 6'4", 6'5".
A lot of people don't know that he cracked a bone in his ankle over the summer playing softball, and there was some concern on how that would affect him early on, but he seems to be running well.
Well, the measurement has taken place. The Bulldogs are about an inch shy of a first down. It's third down and about an inch to make it first and goal, so a pretty good situation here.
And I'd say I look for him to go behind Red Dolly, number 74, and Molaski figures I've got a couple of downs to pound it. If I can't go with my best back behind my best lineman, then it's not worth getting. So that's where I'd look for him to go.
Well, they come out in that all too familiar double tight end formation. Power eye in the backfield this time. Malosky's going to take it himself. He's going to have enough for the first down, pretty close to the touchdown. He's going to be down inside the 1. He didn't get in for 6, but he certainly has set up another crack at it for four plays inside the 1.
And there's the first down signal, so they're going to get that first down. And the important thing is now, barring a fumble or a tremendous stand by Moorhead, UMD is going to get their 6 points. You take a look at the clock, you've got 3 minutes, 56 seconds ticking. Moorhead's going to get the ball back. They're going to be in a hassle to try and score. Typical UMD drive.
There's an indication just how close it is. Less than a yard to go. Malosky over center. We've got contact. Once again, a little over-anxious on the part of some of those Moorhead State front 4. That time, big number 91 jumped, Eric Bondi.
The Moorhead defense is just thoroughly and outrageously frustrated right now, and probably being echoed by Ross Forchie. You know, Bulldogs
Side on the white, it's still first down.
And based on the way their offense played against Southwest, and of course the way that they were so ineffective against Northern Michigan, that was a big question mark coming in. But
Absolutely.
Jim Malosky had said all along, hey, look, I got my guys coming off the ball. If they do what they're supposed to do, we're going to be successful. First down and goal. It's now about a ½ an inch away from pay dirt. Jim Malosky takes it in for the touchdown. All he had to do was lean his 6'4" frame over, and he had it.
Again, we talked about the drive. We talked about earlier what UMD has to do to win. Now, this game is far from over, but as far as the pendulum swinging, here we have the replay right here. Just a quarterback sneak. He powers it right in. And credit Leon Banks, the senior out of Malacca, 6'1", 220 pounds, too, because you have to have a nice center to run behind. And there's Jim Malosky pacing back and forth. He's got to be very happy, not only with the amount of time consumed, but obviously with the final result.
Mark Holston in to tack on another point, and he does so successfully. That will make the score UMD 16 and Moorhead State 3 with 3:28 to go until halftime. We'll be back after this timeout.
Rental places are all alike. You ask for straight talk, they clam up. Watch.
Mr. Snark, welcome back to Rent-A-Center. What can I do for you today?
Tell me again about that rent-to-own stuff.
Well, you can rent new, brand-name merchandise without a credit check or long-term obligation and with the option to own. And we guarantee money-back satisfaction.
These guys will spill their guts to anyone. Remind me never to tell him a secret.
Rent-A-Center. We're not happy until you are.
Coming in first. Going for blue. Come on into your first bank. You're gonna win when you do. We've got the know-how. We'll share it with you. Together we win again and again. Whenever you're coming in first.
Winning. It starts with knowing how.
Come on into your first bank. You're gonna win when you do. Coming in first.
There's Paul Faris, number 80, deep to receive Mark Holston's kickoff. 3:28 left to go here in the second quarter. UMD leading Moorhead State in a mild shocker here, 16-3, and it could be a successful homecoming.
Well, UMD has pretty much had their way with what they've wanted to do. I mentioned that what UMD has to do is establish a ground game. They also have to pick up linebackers. Well, they've even gotten out of their 4-4, so that really hasn't been a significant difference. But UMD's ground game has been mixed with their sprint out passes, and they've just done a tremendous job here. What they can't do is let them off the hook on specialty teams here, and they also can't let them off the hook because there's 3:28 left to go, and anybody can score with that amount of time.
Mark Holston, a rare breed. He's a straight-ahead kicker. He's also left-footed, but he gets the job done. The sophomore out of Stillwater.
He hasn't exactly had any boomers yet today with the wind at his back. He's going to have to go for a low kick here because that wind is still very strong today.
And we're ready to go here. First place in the NIC on the line, and right now UMD has the upper hand. Holston's kick is a high one. It's going to be coming down short. Reese takes it on the 20. He's up to about the 30, and he's going to be knocked down there. Pretty good coverage by the UMD special teams as Wade Preston makes the tackle.
I think what you're going to look for is UMD's defense to maybe loosen up a little bit. In other words, we'll give about 3-4 yards. We don't let them get deep into our territory, but don't let anything get behind you because they have the wind and they have the ball, and I'd look for them to air it out a little bit.
Well, Moorhead State, you might want to go back. They don't really have to push the panic button yet. Go to what gets them there successfully. That's the running attack. High formation this time. Hendricks is indeed going to get the call around the left side, but good defense by the Bulldogs. Hendricks gets a couple on the play. But coming up to meet him, Tommy Rapps, playing a pretty good game up at his defensive right end position.
There's Troy Hendricks from Bemidji, Minnesota, the halfback, number 3. He hasn't exactly had a tremendous day today, but again, credit UMD's defense. They're coming up, not only coming up, they're making great penetration, wrapping the arms up and really holding Moorhead to virtually nothing.
Second down and 9 for the Dragons, who have been frustrated. Whipple's going to take it himself. Pretty good yardage. He's up around the 39-yard line, about a yard shy of a first down. Steve Whipple, for the first time, showing his running tactics.
Again, we're UMD's blitzing their linebackers. You got strong safety Steve Peterson that time. He was on a blitz, and the only thing, if you're monkeying around with those strong safeties, free safeties, they crack through there. It's a lot of green grass ahead of them.
Third down and 1 for the Dragons. They've got plenty of time here. 2:23 left to go until halftime. Dave Flattabo, number 23, is in the backfield replacing Bert Roberts. Greg Flock, number 84, going in motion. Handoff goes to Hendricks. Hendricks around the left side. He's not going to get there. Kevin Neville comes up. Steve Peterson also there. And he's going to be very close, but I believe about a half yard shy of the first down.
They are just pursuing and just coming down the line like a bunch of gangbusters here. They don't want to give up anything. They're very, very tough, and I think they're going to have to come out and measure this. It's going to be pretty close.
I talked to some of the defensive players earlier in the week, and they said, hey, well, all we've been hearing about going into the game is Troy Hendricks and the fact that he's gained 100 yards every game this year and the fact that his streak is still going. Well, we wanted to make something very perfectly clear, and that's that Troy Hendricks is not going to gain 100 yards against us. And so far, they've been true to form.
There we have it. It's going to be a little bit short for Moorhead. I'd look for him to go for it, obviously, but they just have just about a half an inch. But I think you're right, Steve. They are doing a great job on defense. You know, on media, hype can actually work in reverse like it does there. Hendricks. That can fire up a defense, and I'm sure Molaski doesn't like to hear that stuff all week long. And they were ready, and they had a long week of practice. I talked to Mo, and he said we had a good week of practice too. So, and that's in evidence here. But as we mentioned, it's a long way from being over.
Well, there's a good shot of the line of scrimmage. Look for Hendricks to get the call here. But Whipple's going to take it himself. He's going to be close. He might have it, but he didn't get much. Whipple just went right over his left guard, and he did get enough for the first down. So the drive stays alive. 1:58 left to go here in the second quarter. Moorhead State trailing UMD 16-3.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a little bit of precipitation again in the air, starting to rain. That wind is very, very strong.
Back to pass. Whipple's got time. Now he's going to have to get rid of it. He does, and he's got his man, Paul Faris. Inside the 40, Claflin finally knocked him out of bounds, but when you give a guy that much time, the receiver's got to get open sooner or later.
That's right. What you don't like to see if you're a strong safety, free safety, or a cornerback is for that quarterback to have an awful lot of time, and he sure did there. And you can't let him get to the outside either, because if he gets to the outside, you're beat. And that's all that's to it. And he did a nice job getting the ball that time, and they're starting to penetrate UMD territory.
At the 38-yard line, 1st and 10, they still have plenty of time. Inside handoff, Flattabo, he's going nowhere. John DeRungs, the senior out of Sandstone, stacked him up for a couple-yard loss on the play.
And again, what is happening almost on every play, Steve Peterson is blitzing. That means that down lineman has to pick up the blitzing linebacker first, or the safety first. That leaves DeRungs wide open, and he just wrapped them up.
Second down at about 14 yards. He lost about 4 on the play. We've got a timeout on the field. Jim Molaski calling the timeout. He brings his whole team over there. We're going to go to a 30-second commercial. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bob Lewis here with a serious word about buying the right car. But a lot of people won't listen to car dealers, so I'd like to introduce someone who's known me for a long time. Mom?
Thank you, dear. There are 2 words you need to remember when buying a new car. Bob Lewis. That's where you find a huge selection, the finest service, and the best prices. He's such a good boy. I think you should buy a car from him.
Thanks, Mom.
Hurry to the 1985 closeout sale going on now at Bob Lewis Olds Mazda.
1:23 left to go in the second quarter. UMD leading Moorhead State 16-3 in this pivotal NIC encounter at Griggs Field.
We had talked about too, Steve, the kind of feeling was that if UMD doesn't beat Moorhead, they could virtually go an awful long way. There aren't too many teams that strong after Moorhead got by Bemidji that's going to stop them. So I think that's in the back of a lot of people's minds.
The Dragons were ranked 4th in the nation in the NEIA poll going into the game. That will likely change if this outcome holds up. Whipple in trouble. Whipple all over the field. Whipple still has time. Finally hits Hendricks. Hendricks is going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 38-yard line, but boy, he had to scramble for his life.
He certainly did. UMD is doing a great job again. They're still blitzing. One thing about that play, he did not get it off. It was he was scrambling all over. That took a lot of time. Now they're rushed for to get on their play off. They're calling a line of scrimmage, and I think what they're going to have to do is either call a timeout or get their act together here. There we see it. He's rolling out, going back, coming back. He's chased out of there, comes all the way back around. He does see number 3 Hendricks. Back to live action. He's in trouble again. He gets away. He throws it. He's got his man, Davenport, inside the 15. Man, the guy is just dodging a bullet back there. Well, you can't do anything but give Whipple credit on that. He is just, he's covered all over. What UMD can't do now is give it up a quick one here with, we got a minute 3 to go. The clock is stopped on the automatic first down, or on a first down, the clock automatically stops. Now they are knocking on the door.
There's a look at Davenport, the big catch, setting up Moorhead State 1st and 10 in very good field position. Once again, Whipple back to pass. He's going to air it out. He's got his man. He's got it completed at the 1-yard line for Reese with a beautiful diving catch.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a tremendous pass and a tremendous catch that time going out there. He threw the ball right on the money, stretched his arms out. He's right on the 1-foot line. UMD's in trouble right now, and that's one thing they didn't want to do is give up a score right before halftime, because that really pumps up that Moorhead team. Lets them right back in the ball game.
1st and goal inside the 1. Boom, boom. Boy, can they put points on the board in a hurry when they get the chime. Inside handoff. Hendricks, touchdown.
Well, there you have it. They took that, and it was actually on 2 big broken plays that set up that touchdown there. And again, credit Whipple, because he was virtually smothered. He got out of that, threw a couple of completions, a couple of nice balls right on the money, and holy cow, we've got a new ball game right here.
Paul Whipple looked like a greased pig out there a couple of times. He was right in the clutches of several UMD front 4 members, but he got away and completed 2 very, very big passes. And then Troy Hendricks caps off the drive with a 1-yard run. Gaslin in for the extra point. It is up and it is good. It is now a 16-10 ball game, and we'll be back at Griggs Field with more in just a moment. Good to see you, Jim.
Hi, Tom. Fine.
In the Northland, the issues affecting people are discussed in town halls, union meetings, or in boardrooms, and the outcome touches the lives of people in other communities. We've helped thousands of people form educated opinions on issues because we've been there. We bring the Northland to you every day. The News Tribune and Herald, the Northland newspaper.
Well, Moorhead State looked like they were pretty well down on offense, not really generating much, and all of a sudden a couple of busted plays, and bingo, they're into the end zone and move within 6 points, tying this football game up.
Now the play that set up that touchdown, that the initial play, the planned play, I should say, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. That was a perfectly thrown ball and a nice catch. The 2 leading up to that, you know, kind of questionable. Those were definitely broken plays.
Momentum has definitely shifted over to Moorhead State's end of the field. To pull within 6 before intermission, a big break for them. High end-over-end kick. Corey Veach is going to take it at his own 10. Veach up to the 20. And he's down at about the 25-yard line. The Bulldogs will take over there, 1st and 10. Only 39 ticks left on the clock until intermission.
Well, I look for UMD to just kind of go in the halftime, kind of regroup, 16-10. You're ahead by 6. You don't want to air the ball out and give Moorhead a chance to put any more on the board. But again, credit to Moorhead for sticking in there and not giving up, and they are going to be pumped up for the second half.
Well, a 6-point deficit, a lot easier to look at coming out of the locker room than a 13-point deficit. The Bulldogs with 2 tight ends in there, Greenwood number 88 and Kraus number 85. I formation behind Jim Molosky. Molosky, handoff goes to Veach. Veach up over the 30-yard line. Pretty good yardage, about 5 on the play. Corey Veach, he's been a very busy guy here in the first half, I would have to believe. And he's up there in that 60, 75 yards already in the first half. Could be a 100-yard-plus day for him.
He sure is, and if you take a look at some of those down linemen that are doing the blocking for him, if they keep up the blocking that they're doing, there's going to be a lot of stars given out today on offense, win or lose the game.
8 seconds. Bulldogs, I don't know if they're even going to get this play off. We'll see. 2, 1. They're going to let the clock go. That's going to be the end of the first half. UMD leading Moorhead State 16-10. It was 16-3 just a moment ago, but Moorhead puts a late score to move within 6. We'll be back with more halftime activity after this timeout.